Yes, but more maybe. Rivals of Aether 2 just released, and I have maybe about 8 hours of playtime, and I know that's not a lot, but I went through the hard mode on every single character, and so I got a feel for them, I got a feel for the way the game plays, and I would have done more, especially fighting people online, but this game doesn't feel like it has all that much, but it kind of feels a little bit like Brawlhalla, but Smash Melee. And then some characters feel more like Brawl. It's this weird sort of fighting game that I don't exactly know how to describe. But what I do know is this is probably going to get picked up in the pro scene because of how technical it is and how many different things you can do with the characters in the game. So right away I noticed that there's no actual story or collectibles or anything. It's just fighting, which is fine, but for a game that's like $30 or something, I feel like it could use a little bit more. And then what I don't really like about the game is there's a button for charge attacks and there's a button for light attacks. So, and then there's a button for special. So instead of having two, like most games, or at least Smash, I'm used to Smash, where the A button was these basic attacks, and then if you hold side attack, then it would do the charge attack. But instead, if you dash, because also if you were dashing and then you press A, it would do a lunging attack or whatever, but now you can't charge attack with the same button, so there's a third button to pay attention to, which it isn't the biggest thing, but it does get a little bit getting used to. I want to show that if you're used to Smash and stuff like that, you're probably going to get the hang of this fairly quickly, but specifically that third button, the neutral and then the charge, that's a little weird. But also there's a dedicated parry button, which usually a perfect block does kind of the same thing, so I feel like those two extra buttons are kind of pointless. It doesn't really add anything rather than an additional input, which I think is weird. And so the game does feel pretty smooth. It's pretty fast, it responds really well. And based on the graphics, I thought it was going to be a lot slower like Brawl. Some characters definitely move a lot slower than others, but for the most part, it's very smooth, it's very fluid, and it just plays well overall. Now I also wanted to talk about the arcade mode. I haven't played normal or medium, but as you can see I have the little medals. They're all iron or silver, gold at best, but hard mode is kind of annoying, which while playing it I was thinking like this is way too hard, this is annoying. Like, it was actually getting me frustrated. Some characters are just way weaker than others, but the thing about this game is when you play hard, I noticed that there's launch multipliers and also damage multipliers for the enemies for some reason, which I guess it's fine because it really forced me to get better faster than if it was just like a regular fight. But in terms of Smash and stuff, usually the AI just has better reaction speed and stuff, but they don't get damage multipliers and attack multipliers. So while I was barely launching them, they were able to kill me from the opposite side of the map. It's a little hard to show now because I can't really script them to do anything, but they were launching me from the opposite sides of the map at 70%. And I know hard mode and stuff is supposed to be a challenge in like all games and everything, and there's usually some sort of gimmicks and stuff, but it never feels, in other games it never feels unfair. Here it felt a little unfair, and again it actually did make me be a little better in terms of reaction time and just like being patient and reading and dodging and grabbing and stuff, but I feel like it was a little bit excessive. But that's okay. So yeah, so as you saw there's definitely damage and launch multipliers. I wasn't sure if there was or not because I was kind of just coping, I guess, and maybe I was just really that bad. But if you put them on easy, I was able to launch and kill that guy at 50, I think. This guy's about to die at 40. That guy at 30. So it's definitely a lot different because I was struggling to kill people at 120 or something when I was playing hard mode yesterday. And then the last thing about adventure mode that I wanted to touch on was this shield thing. Here it wasn't a problem. You hit them 3 times and the shield is broken. But in hard mode, you're doing 1, maybe 2% of the shield per hit. And so you literally gotta hit them anywhere between 25 and 30 times before you can even start doing damage to them. All while they're doing 10% damage per hit. And it just got incredibly frustrating trying to fight these guys on hard mode with their 50 shield that takes no damage while you're over here dying. Because you also have a single life for your entire run, and you can reset. But every time you reset, you can redo the fight, but you're at their 0 health, you're 0 health, and so you still have to start the whole thing over again. So literally on hard, because of how many times I died, it took me way longer. It should have been maybe 10 minutes if I was fighting, because this took me 5 minutes, right? Those are easy fights. 47 minutes. Incredibly frustrating, and it feels weird on why they would give damage multipliers and launch multipliers rather than just change the AI. I don't understand it, but again, it did force me to be a little bit better at the game. I'm still not that great, because the last thing to talk about, because really there's nothing much in this game other than adventure mode and then online. So there are things to collect and mostly buy, which it's fine, but usually if you're gonna have a bunch of microtransactions, you might as well make your game free. They're icons, they're death effects or emotes or something, which or skins. Some of these are cool, but 50,000 translates into 500, which 500 translates into $5. So you're paying $5 per skin, or you're playing thousands of games, which eventually, yeah, you can get one skin after I don't know how long. But none of these collectibles really feel like special. For example, in Melee, you would collect trophies after a game or two, maybe a couple trophies per an adventure run, and those you can look at after. You don't have to pay for anything. And while microtransactions are fine because, you know, you want to get the most out of your game and stuff, I just feel like if you're gonna put this many, just make the game free or make it a lot cheaper, especially because, again, the only thing in this game is fighting and nothing else. No story, no real collectibles. And then also there's only, what is it, 6? There's only 10 characters. Maybe they'll make more depending on how popular it is and stuff, but if they're also gonna make that into DLC, then this game is gonna start adding up. I just don't know if the value's there, especially for a majority of people. Again, if this is gonna be your thing, you're gonna become a pro at this game, you're gonna play this non-stop, and you're gonna try and perfect your skill at this game with these characters, then yeah, pay for whatever, spend all the time you needed. But I feel like the smaller, faster attacking champions in this game are the ones that are going to be picked more compared to everyone else. But I just sort of wanted to touch on the fact that this game, because I could probably go play just casuals and maybe it won't be as bad, but this game has such a high technical ceiling that while it is fun and you can probably enjoy it with friends, I think this is more just geared towards people who want to spend a ton of time developing their skills and trying to go to like locals and tournaments and stuff in pro type settings. And while, again, I had fun with this game, I don't think I'm going to spend much time on it because I don't really feel like spending that much time to practice and actually learn these characters, learn all the technicals in the game, and just all this time, because I'm never going to go pro with this. I'm not going to go to locals, I'm not going to do anything, and I don't know enough people who I guess are even playing in order to care enough to want to get better. So this is a good game, it's well made, it's well put together, but I think it has a very niche community in the terms of it's those players who like fighting games but want to take it super seriously. You're going to dedicate a ton of time and energy into it. Again, there's no collectibles, there's no real story, there's nothing extra for the casual player. And in terms of pricing, $30 I guess is okay, but since it only has the fight aspect and nothing else to it, I feel like it'd be better closer to like 15, maybe 20, but that's just me. Not a bad game, just not for me, not for a lot of people. I'd probably skip this game. And overall, I'm gonna give it like a 6.5 out of 10 because it's too niche, it's too focused on just the pro scene or trying to be a pro level scene type game. And while I know I'm not good at the game, I feel like most games should be more accessible in different areas to a broader population. And this game just doesn't feel like it has that. That's all I gotta say about this game. I'll see you guys in the next review.